So watch it get that so it doesn't confuse me. Guys, you gotta get to the timing. Don't overact, because then it becomes superficial. What you did before is just keep it simple. What you did before, don't. Especially watch out one thing, everybody. Pull all the acting in. This theater we're going into is small, only 100 seats. So if you start doing big, if we were playing the Opera House, yeah, I wouldn't say a thing, fine. But you're not. And so the harder when you're in a small house because it has to be real. So just play it easy, it'll show. What you did before, you're rushing too. Because once you take it, 1, 2, 3, you got time here. You got time there on that turn. Don't rush that turn. You're off your rhythm totally. Well, that's why I gave you the words. Because you gotta know the words. It's like when I did Broadway shows, they give you a script and they give you a score. You have to memorize it. Yeah, this season's a fun season for Sokolow. Because it shows the versatility of the ensemble. In other words, because we're presenting works of Anna that span several decades and ages. So the company now is complete with 16 dancers. Some of them are been with me for 30, 35 years. Some of us have been with me for 10 to 15 years, and some of them are like new or been with me for 2 years or something like that. And that shows there are at least 3 generations of dancers who now know Sokolow and are keeping Anna's legacy and artistic genius before the public. I also think it is important for the Sokolow Ensemble to give concerts every year because of what Anna does represent to the dance community. There's, it's like recently one of the major ballerinas said on national television that the audience makes her turn more and jump higher. Okay, if that's your goal, fine. But that's not Anna Sokolow's goal. I mean, my dancers have technique, there's no question about that. But they are there to inform the audience, not to be informed by the audience. And they go deeper than that as their artistic goals. And then also Anna is, on the other side of the gamut, you have the contemporary dancers who are interested in, they've gotten fascinated with invention of movement. But Anna is great at inventing movement, no question about that, but her movement comes from an idea that is usually socially relevant to what's happening. And that's why we're calling this season Room for Everybody. Because the first dance, which is Ride the Culture Loop, which was about and is about New York City and about the diversity of people that now live in New York. There are people who are ethnically different and people who are lifestyles are different and people who are very different, yet we all live together in a quite a magnificent way of acceptance and interest with each other. I think that's maybe why the World Trade was attacked, is because we do represent something like that it can work. And so the Culture Loop is a dance that has all different types of cultures getting along together. It's really important. And then we go to Steps of Silence, which is one of Anna's how man is inhumane to his own species, and it sort of covers, what's happening in the front pages with the immigrants and everything. It's a devastating piece. And then the Kurt Weill, which is about an artist. Kurt Weill, and in Kurt Weill there's a section that is the string quartet, which is a piece Kurt Weill wrote at the age of 18. It's a beautiful, beautiful classical work. But because of the Nazis and because he had to leave Germany, he never wrote another one. He turned and got into humanity and what humanity was doing, and did Broadway and did all his works. He also discovered when he came to America different groups of people, and he got into, there's some beautiful tangos in this dance. But it also shows how an artist gets influenced by his environment, by his people, by society. And that's what Sokolow represents to the dance world, and it's very important. I mean, she was Pina Bausch's teacher. She is the one that discovered and developed theater dance. And so it's really important that we do it. The other thing is that this year, I'm sort of stepping back as artistic director, and all those dances I mentioned are being reconstructed by my dancers. Ellie is doing the Kurt Weill, and Samantha has done Culture Loop, and Lauren has done Steps of Silence. So now I'm not only showing you that we have many generations of Sokolow, we're now starting to hand it on to a new generation. I mean, I'm sorry, I've kept Sokolow alive for, I mean, it's been 35 years I've been doing every year a Sokolow season, and I hope it will continue. I mean, Anna was born and raised in New York City, and for 90 years she presented her art. And so it's important to keep it going, I think. One of the things to watch, which I like watching my older dancers teach the younger dancers how to get the essence of Sokolow, the technique of Sokolow, the style. Is quite wonderful. I mean, as I say, Lauren Naslund and Ellie Bunker have been dancing with me for 35, 40 years, so they have that much experience. Then you have Samantha and Gabriel, who have been dancing for maybe 20, 25 years, so they have that much experience. And then you have Yayoi and people that have been studying with me, Margherita from Milan, who's been studying with me for 15 years. So it's kind of interesting, all this generation, and they layer it. And then you have Melissa, who I found up at the Boston Conservatory about 6-7 years ago. And then you have newer dancers, Annie and Mary, who have been now studying with me for like 2-3 years. And I mean, I teach all the time. And then we got some new people in that are brand new. And it's interesting to watch how they come in, and then how they have to start, well, they have to know about the art of acting as well as the different styles. I mean, with Anna, you have to tap dance, you have to do tango, you have to do hip hop, you have to do all ballet, you have to do all different kinds of modern, depending, in other words, her idea creates the technique. And these takes a long while because it's a complicated repertoire. So it takes a long time to learn all the different essences that you need to perform her works. And watching the older dancers hand down to the others the way I sort of hand to them and how they pick it up is fascinating. That's what I've been enjoying this season. So the Culture Loop is a good beginning, and it is the beginning of this program, and it also has, you know, all the younger dancers, and it's one of Anna's lighter pieces, and so that's why we've got a lot of the younger dancers in. But then as we progress into steps in Kurt Weill, you have to have more maturity, and you need to have knowledge of life, and not just knowledge of technique. As I say, that's where Anna is important to the art community of dance. And 1, 2. Now you got to pull her into you. In, that's it. Now dance with her. Dance with her. Yeah. And that's so. Okay. Dance with her. Anna just told me, she goes, okay, let's dance with her. Okay. Let's just dance with her. Let me see you dance with her. Dance with her. And take her out. And now dance with her. 1. Dance with her. 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 She tries. Look. She comes in. Give her the rhythm. 1, 2, 3. Boom. And up. Aha! Oh. That was good. Did you do that? No more than that. That's very good. Okay. Oh, I've always wanted to do this.
Oh my God.
Stuart got to do this. Now, what is this?
Put it on.
But, what are you putting on? Nothing else. Nothing else. Be a little bit, it's funny, being this is not correct. Being this is correct. Yeah? Same thing when you come in, right? So here he goes. Now close. Be close. Be close. Now Dom, can you do this? Now that was good, right? Now as you do this, can you get closer? Closer. Start away, get closer, closer. So there's something going on here. Yeah? And one. Enjoy it. And yes. There he goes. There he goes. Don't you want some of this action? All right, get in there. The other thing that's great about this program is the music. Culture Loop is jazz, Teo Macero, and very, very New York. And then Seven Silence is European, and Anato Veru, I believe it's Romanian. I may be wrong on that. And then, of course, as I say, Kurt Weill is an incredible musician. And Anna actually worked with Kurt Weill when he first came over. She did the Broadway show Street Scene with him, and that's where she met him. And supposedly, she choreographed a number in it, and they wanted a show-stopping number. And the producers looked at what she came up with, and they didn't like it because they said it will never stop the show. And Kurt Weill is actually the one that stood up for Anna and said, "Who's to know what's going to stop the show?" And so they kept it in, and it did. It stopped the show and became. She was nominated for a Tony and everything because of it. So she became a close friend of Kurt Weill and his wife, Lottie Lenya. So naturally, she wanted to honor him. And so in 1987 or 8, she did Kurt Weill. We premiered Kurt Weill at the 92nd Street Y. It was to raise money for the 92nd Street Y, and I believe we raised $57,000. And Agnes DeMille was actually the keynote speaker because she was a friend of Anna's, and she watched Kurt Weill from off stage. And at the end of Kurt Weill, I was coming off stage, and she said, "That was a really nice piece." Anna. In those days, the NEA and NISCA were supportive to the dance. It's Because, I mean, if you look at the politicians nowadays, do they mention the arts? No, not at all. And there's no support for the artists. The artists don't have any lobby groups to make us, so we're all living on the edge. And so now we rehearse, if we're lucky, 6 hours a week, that we can afford. Where back then, when she was creating the Kurt Weill, we rehearsed every day. We took 6 months to create Kurt Weill. We had time to create. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was nice. Now, did you be like, oh yeah, one little thing, and then you take it? I'm very positive, especially this season with what everybody's doing and how they know Anna and how they recreated her works quite beautifully. And as I say, we've got generations now that know Sokolow, that are interested in doing Sokolow. You just have to find financial support at all times. That's always a problem. But I'm very positive about what the company is, and I think we definitely do have we've been giving New York seasons since 1980. I've been in every season. I mean, why do you think it's not going to go on?